Hello again, it's Debbie from acrylicpouring.com. This video follows on directly from the one that I posted yesterday. Yesterday I did a spinny record, so I put it on my cake board, span it around, and I just used 3 primary colours and white and created a beautiful spin. Mostly blues, reds and purples. The white and the yellow barely showed up in it at all, so I had a little bit of green, but it was quite interesting. But I've got quite a lot of paint left over. So what I've done, I've added some more white and some more yellow, and we'll see if that's a mistake or not. I've also added a few extra little drops of my sparkle medium in there, and I thought I'd just do a quick flip cup on a tile with the rest of this paint and see what happens. I've got a feeling because of the extra yellow and white, and maybe those colours are heavier, that they sank more in the cup, so when I poured they didn't come out, but when I flip I think they definitely will. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. So, without any further ado, let's just weigh. Of course, the tile surface is very slippery, so when I do the flip cup, the cup just moves around all over the place. The colours look nice though. So I was interested to see, just using the primary colours, whether they would mix and give me some nice variations, whether, you know, I would get some greens and some purples, and I got a lot of red, blue and purple on the last one. Not much in the way of yellow and green, and very little in the way of any white. So today we'll see what happens. So this time, of course, by flipping it, it's a different way of dealing with the paints. Before I poured it, so the paint was coming out in like a stream and then it spread across the record. Today I'm just going to pull the cup up and we'll let the colours do their own thing. And if there's different weights or densities in the colours today, we'll probably get very different results to when we were spinning them. So let me just take those out of the way, because I am a little bit on the clumsy side, and let's tip it up. Yeah, it does look very different to yesterday, very different indeed. Just the way the colours are in their patches and bands looks very different to the way it was on the record yesterday. There's a lot more larger cells, I think, with the spin on the record, or any time that I spin. I guess the movement of the paint, it thins it for whatever reason, and I don't get the same kind of cell activity that I get with the flip cups. So that's all out of there. Wow, so I've still got plenty of paint left over. Got some really large cells here. That's unusual for me, because mostly what I get is much smaller cell activity. Zoom in a little bit and get a bit closer in now to how that's looking. There we go, I'll centre it up. So I'm really delighted with this, looks lovely. I can see some patches of my sparkle here and here as well, and that looks really nice. So it's clearly not going to cover the whole tile, unfortunately, unless I move it just a little bit. So I'll get my brush at the ready, but I've got some beautiful stuff coming over the sides. I really love it when the design comes over the side on the tiles here. So I'm just going to do these 2 corners first, because there's very little to cover in those. I'm going to tip the paint just a little bit, because I don't want to lose it too much. So I'll get a bit of volume. Excellent. And now I can just pull that over the side, and it's just draining down over the sides now on its own. Do a little bit towards this corner. Just by moving it a little bit and increasing the paint volume. When I use the brush to just touch the edges of the paint, that's enough for them to drag over the sides on their own. And then that means I get the pattern coming over too, which is nice. And of course, every time it flows over on its own, it also is kind of self-leveling and thinning the paint a little bit too, so that I don't have to worry so much about any potential cracking. So I'm just going to spin this around. I always do better tipping it towards me rather than away from me most of the time. Let's just tip a little bit towards this corner. And I'll use my brush to just encourage this to drop over the sides. There we go. A little bit more. Doesn't need much. That's it, that's got it. So I think in the past, it says there's a great big patch just here on the side, I don't know if you can see very well, but it's just caught right on the edge of the tile and then there's nothing. But if I touch it with my paintbrush, it kind of just releases the tension on that paint and suddenly the whole thing slides down over the side of that tile. It takes the pattern down there with it and it creates, you know, some coverage now on the sides that I didn't have before. So that's good. So I've just got this last corner to do. I'm actually going to just pick up a bit of paint and put in there because that will help it to flow. Just release this edge and that will start flowing over the side. And now the slightest of tips, hopefully. I'm going to encourage it to move with the brush. And that's it done. So now I've got my full coverage, I have to think about my composition. Am I happy with it as it is? I've got a little bit of kind of stretching here where it's coming off the side here and also here. So, and this cell here has come out really, really large. So I think what I'm going to do is just take this area and see if I can tip it back a little way in that direction. And that might make my composition feel a little bit better to me. Okay, let's see. Now that's really nice. I'm surprised at how big these areas have come out. And looking at them, those seem to be the areas that have the glitter, mostly in this area. And so that will be the addition of the Floetrol, because my sparkle medium is just the glitter mixed with a little Floetrol. So where it's puddled into the paint, it's made it stretch out a lot more and created much larger cells than on this other side, where I'm not seeing. There's a little bit of sparkle here, a little bit over there, but mostly it's concentrated in these areas, which is interesting because it's created some different effects on this side to how it looks on this side. So am I happy with it? Maybe just tip it a little bit away from me. It's so difficult to decide on composition, isn't it? What you like, someone else might not necessarily like. I just wanted to take that part away so it wasn't quite so central and just a little bit more. And then this area here is now creating a nice diagonal. And this area here is creating quite a nice swirl on this side, which contrasts with this side where it's mostly going in this direction. So I think this has more movement now, the way that I've moved it, but you know, you may have preferred it before. Who knows? It's all personal preference, isn't it, when it comes to this type of art. So now I've got all of this, I have to decide whether to give it a torch, and I think in these yellow areas I'm just going to try and selectively torch in those little bits and see what happens. Whoa! Okay. So just the slightest of touches created a lot more very, very small cells in this area. Wow, there's a lot of activity just here and some beautiful cells coming through just there. So now I probably need to balance that a little bit. So I should probably put a little patch over here. Let's see if I can do it gently. Okay. Wow. Oh, that looks really nice. Goodness, now I'm tempted to do the whole thing. Now I've seen how pretty this has come out, and especially this area here, I'm tempted. Right, that's it. I've decided, because these have come out so nice, I'm going to do the whole thing. Because I've already got some larger areas, I think it would be nice to balance it with some small details. So let's just go for it now. Just going to torch around the back a little bit. a stunner. Yeah, that's really lovely. I think the balance now between the larger areas, the bigger cells, and all of the tiny details in the small cells, it balances well on a tile. This is a 6-inch tile, so it's got quite a small scale. So I think having the small details on a small canvas looks really good. So, wow, this looks completely different to the record that I did yesterday. Obviously this was a flip instead of a spin, but still the colour combinations are very different. I did end up with the more yellow and white on this side. I've still got some really nice combos here and a little bit of what looks like greens and things coming through. So, another beautiful pour. I've been lucky again today. Let me bring the camera down and show you some of these details. There you go. It's really lovely. I'm really liking all these tiny details now. Look at that, just absolutely stunning. It's like infinity. You could look in and in and in to these cells, and there's just so much detail in there, so much colour. I'm absolutely fascinated by this way of creating art. Some may not call it fine art. You know, it's not always as easy as it looks. I know when I was first starting out, I found it quite frustrating to try and create the sort of look that I was going for. But now I seem to be having a lot more success. So I think the experimenting actually pays off. It may seem a bit odd and a bit crazy from time to time, but it really pays off. So just get in there, throw some colours around and try different mixes, different additives, and see what's working for you. And hopefully you'll be as delighted with what you create as I am with what I manage. So as usual, hang around because I'm going to dry this one off and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. So here's the tile now it's dry. It has retained a lot of the colour. There's a lot of yellows then there, some blues, some reds, some greens. But overall, I don't think it looks too exciting. It's gone kind of dark, you know, a bit like the other one did, the record that I did. It's dried a lot darker than I would like, and it looks kind of just dull and brown. So I think this one isn't going to be a keeper after all. So all of my primary colour work so far just really hasn't worked out. The record with the spin was too dark, too purpley. This one again, you know, not great, but I'm determined to master this, so watch out for this space because I'll definitely be doing more pours, flip cups and dirty pours with primary colours in future, so look out for it. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for trying, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully over at acrylicpouring.com.